Hey, it's Amy Lewis from the KFBK Morning News, and this is part 2 of our series on what to do if a natural disaster hits you, your home, and your family. And Brandon Haefele from Catalyst Mortgage has really dedicated this series to you to make sure that you are educated on what options you do have. So let's start right away, Brandon, with my house was destroyed. So do I have to continue paying my mortgage?
Yes. You actually do have to continue paying your mortgage. The important thing, Amy, is, you've lost everything. You don't have, your mail. You don't have where even a mortgage payment would go. You don't have the information of who your servicer is, readily available. So I would always, once you are settled and you are in, a safe place, your family's good, you're settled, I would definitely look online when you have internet access to. Look up who your mortgage company is, servicing number, and give them a call. Because servicers right now with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, the agencies that do primarily insure and purchase loans, are granting forbearances. So if you have been displaced because of this, you're actually able to get a hold put on making mortgage payments.
Okay.
That amount of money.
That's the forbearance.
That's the forbearance.
Okay.
That amount of money is put onto the backside of your loan, and or they can increase your payments when you're able to start making them again to build the payments that you haven't been making, build it into your new payment. But the point is you can get temporary relief, and that's really kind of what you need when you're going through something like this, so you're not having to also think about, okay, where are we going to even live for the next 6 months while you're figuring out the homeowner's insurance information, figuring out what other options are available, like we talked about in the last segment, such as FEMA and SBA programs. But it gives you that break to really focus on rebuilding.
It's funny though when you talk about FHA, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae and SBA, and all these different acronyms. The fear, I think, for a lot of people is, I'm going to get a machine that answers the phone for me first off. So do you eventually get to a real life person to tell them that you're in a state of crisis?
Well, yes, you do. But one thing that's also that we've seen with servicers is they're actually putting banners and links to click right on their home pages. Okay. If you have been affected by a natural disaster, click here, or this is the number to call, where they're expediting, expediting that. On top of that, let's say you have been affected by a foreclosure in these areas, or you're in the process of going through a foreclosure. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac put a 90, usually we'll put a 90-day hold on foreclosures at times, like that, to where, because maybe you're getting ready to get caught up on it, or you were working out some type of a refinance, but now you, of course, can't, either A, because you've been displaced, your home is no longer standing, or B, what if your employer is no longer standing, that there are programs that they will even stop foreclosures on top of even stopping, like they say, the payments for people that have been on time with their payment. They'll do either or.
How important is it, because when you lose your home, there are so many immediate things that you're dealing with, and probably informing your mortgage provider that your home is no longer standing, therefore you question whether or not you should really pay your monthly mortgage. It's not top of mind. So how important is it to contact your mortgage provider to say this has happened? Well,
I would say that for any consumer, depending on, if the payment's due and you're going to be 30 days late, I know this sounds bad, but you want to go and get it taken care of, right away. If you have a few weeks that you're not going to be considered late, well then focus on the homeowners association claims and so on. And the reason I say that is you will end up potentially utilizing credit for temporary costs, whether it be toiletries or to stay somewhere or whatever. You're going to use credit, and by having a 30-day late on your credit because the loan was not put into forbearance, might make your credit score drop, which would make your credit card companies maybe turn off your credit cards, which would be even worse. So I think it's case by case, but it is important because you don't want your credit damaged. Exactly. And people are thinking, well, my credit's not important right now. Well, it potentially is if you're going to temporarily use it until you're getting reimbursement from your homeowner's insurance company, or if you're going to be getting a grant from FEMA, or if you're going to be getting some type of assistance. You will be getting this, but you're going to probably use credit in the meantime to live.
I really think that the thing that you touched on, the banners, are so important, because if it says if you lost your home in a wildfire, click here, click there, right? And that'll get you
Absolutely.
to a real live person so that you can talk to them about what's happening.
Absolutely, and let's just take this also beyond mortgage. You know, credit cards, car loans,
Right.
anything that requires a payment that is due, and if it's not due, you're going to be late. Contact those creditors. I would say 90% of them are all offering some type of assistance and or payment forbearance, some type of a hold where you're not going to have to make that payment while you're really getting everything else figured out.
And I would imagine too, there's always a scammer out there, so they're going to want to make sure that you are telling the truth, that you lost your home in, you know, the wildfires. And so I think that what would you have to do? Send them your address. What do you do?
It could potentially be, you know, send your address. On top of that, you know, they might want to say, okay, hey, you know, we're going to do a temporary one as of today, but within the next 5 or 10 days, we're going to want something from your homeowner's insurance company to also document. They're going to want documentation.
Yeah.
I think everyone's going to be a little bit different, but ultimately, it's usually something from homeowners, you know, your homeowner's insurance, because once a claim has been filed, you know, person has to come out and do an inspection kind of thing, so they'll probably want documentation of that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot more easy going in the beginning, and then you will have to document, you know, what's going on.
I just thought of another thing too. I hope this
Go
is
ahead.
okay. Because what if my home was in the process of being built? You know, and so I certainly haven't moved into that home. It's still in the construction process. So what happens then?
Well, during the construction process, there is always insurance as well taken out on the property from, you know, when you're going in the beginning of the property, when you
Yeah.
go through the approval, an insurance policy is taken out. So you also would be protected in that side, and it would be, again, call the insurance company, work with them, talk to them about what you've gone through, but also, at the same time, contact who you're making payments on, if you are,
Yeah.
and whoever you took the actual construction loan out with, even if you're not making payments, because some construction loans have an immediate payment, the other ones have it to where it's a balloon at the end.
One
So,
last question.
yeah.
If I lost my business, does this change at all the way I'm supposed to handle rebuilding my business or paying my mortgage on the business?
You know, that would go into business insurance, and I would say that they're contact your business insurance company, because some will have relocation costs where they will pay for you to have your business moved and reestablished. One great thing about technology nowadays is
Yeah.
everything is on the cloud, so most businesses do internal backups, but also off-site backup.
Okay.
So some businesses, maybe in 20, 30 days, can go ahead and restart. What's important there also is business insurance can also cover for disasters like this employee wages.
Okay.
So it's one of those things that talk to your boss, have him call their insurance company to see if he's been affected and your business has been burned down or affected by a natural disaster. Contact to see if they will cover wages.
So those are my questions, and I know that you probably have so many more questions. And let me tell you, this is part 2 of our series, so if you did not see part 1, you can see it now and look at the other things that we covered in part 1. But the bottom line is, I just want to thank you for doing this, because this is such a very, very serious situation. And whether it's a wildfire or an earthquake or a hurricane or some other type of natural disaster and you've lost your home, these are the questions that you have. And you may have many more questions that were not covered on these 2 segments. So call Catalyst Mortgage and they will help you run this gauntlet of a situation that you found yourself in because of a natural disaster. So I can tell you 287-7777, that's the number, 916 area code, or go to catalystmortgage.com for more information. But also, you've got a question right now on Facebook, put it down there and they will answer it. And they will answer it, that is, at Catalyst Mortgage.